Last week in the JBL Cup Series, we saw another points shift at Martinsville Speedway with the worst night on the season for Logan Williams. He had a cylinder go down, got turned twice, and now because of that, Matthew Hubert has a 20-point lead going into tonight. However, Logan Williams starts second, and Matthew Hubert starts 19th. So they're going to start pretty even here in this one, and we gotta see of what ends up happening. It is the 2025 JBL Cup Series Season 6 finale for the JBL 500 at Atlanta. What's up, everyone? It's boy Answer97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome back to Atlanta Speedway for the second night in a row, and for the second time this season for the JBL Cup Series, and this time is underneath the lights for 84 laps on tap, and for one of the longer races on the season for the JBL 500. What a season it has been, and it all comes down to this Matthew Hubert, who's been extremely consistent all year long, really, and he doesn't have the most wins out of anyone beyond him in the point standings, but he has the most top 10s and top 5s, so we gotta see how that all shakes out. And of course, last year we saw Logan Williams win the race, and we got Alex as the only front row up here in the booth. But we also had the 77 of Josh Winson win the Drivers' Championship last year, and we got Caleb up here in the booth for this one. Welcome to Atlanta, and welcome to the Season 6 finale at Atlanta Speedway.
Glad to be up here once again. It's going to be a spectacular race here once again. Here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This track is usually always a lot of fun, especially here in the finale. Usually always produces some great racing and some great storylines, and definitely have a lot here coming into this one. Of course, Matthew Hubert with a pretty solid points buffer with the points lead, but of course anything can happen. It's always not over until the checkered flag falls. We got 82 laps out of us here today. Anything can happen, and it's going to be a very, very exciting race here tonight, either way you slice it.
Excited for this one too. I mean, maybe not as excited as I would have been if last week didn't happen, but hey, regardless of the fact, the finale races, regardless of how the championship picture is always a lot of fun because it is the last race of the season, and all these drivers want to end the season as a race winner, including those, especially those who are not in the championship fight. And of course, Logan Williams, Andrew Miller still have a shot, especially considering where Matthew Hubert starts for this race here tonight. There's also a lot of other drivers who want to go to victory lane one last time this season, and they're going to go for it here for 82 laps at Atlanta.
Absolutely, and you touched on a great point, especially with Andrew Miller. He won last week, got win number 6 on the season. He still has a chance, and so does Stuart Gratton in the 47. If Logan Williams and Andrew Miller finish up towards the front, and if Matthew Hubert, I believe, finish outside the top 18, top 20, then it could be very, very tight for this championship. So even though Hubert has a big point lead, 20 points, that is half of what you can get at 40. So it's still possible, but we gotta wait and see if what ends up happening. I'm gonna ask you this, Alex. This racetrack, we've been here for 2 seasons now, and it's one of the only racetracks that we go here twice. And we've seen last year, and we saw earlier this year, the spring Atlanta race is so much different than the fall Atlanta race, with the lanes being all maxed out to the max capability, I should say. And normally it's a bit more spread out here in the second one, but how do you think tonight will go here at Atlanta underneath the lights?
I do have a lot of confidence in Logan Williams because he won this race last year. And with that being said, to your point, we're going to see certain drivers just dominate this race here tonight. And especially if this race stays green, you're going to see maybe 2 or 3 drivers have an opportunity, which is going to make the championship battle very interesting because I think Andrew Miller and Logan Williams are going to be those 2 drivers who have a great chance of dominating. Also got Bartow there running 3rd to start this race. But Hubert's all the way back in 19th. We'll see if he can work his way up through the field. But if he does not get up front in time, he's going to have to be careful not to slip back too much or get caught up in a wreck or have something like what happened to Logan Williams last week happen. It's going to be a very interesting race, and we're going to see the best of the best up front here tonight in this JBL 500.
Absolutely, and We gotta see what ends up happening, and another thing that we have to keep an eye on is Caleb. This is a very tricky pit road to get onto, very tricky pit road to get off of, and the strategy is gonna be a big time factor, especially if this stays green. We've got about 2 to 2.5 seconds of tire fall, some of the most on the schedule. So on top of everything, how do these drivers and championship contenders need to rattle the brain around pit stops and pit strategy?
It's definitely going to be a very challenging task, like you mentioned. It's definitely going to be a very strategy-oriented race, especially if it does stay green, at least for a little while. This track will absolutely eat up tires, and already this track kind of known for being quite slippery, so there's going to be really no grip out there, especially once these tires are worn out. So I like it, especially make pit road quite a difficult one to get onto. So we'll have to see if that maybe stirs things up a little bit here, but it'll definitely be really interesting to see how the strategy will factor into today's race, what kind of all strategies we might see during today's race, and who ends up being the benefactor out of all the strategy calls. It'll definitely be really interesting, but yeah, the pit road will definitely have to be something to watch out for as this race plays out.
I cannot agree more, and for everyone that's in the JBL Cup Series, this is kind of like out Darlington. It's the old Atlanta, so you gotta have the strategy part of it as well, and that's gonna be very interesting. Managing the equipment, tires, and the whole 9 yards here in the season finale. Matthew Hubert has a 20-point lead over Logan Williams, but Logan Williams starts up front. Hubert starts in 19th. Miller starts on pole, his third pole on the season, 28 win number 7 on the regular season, plus also race win. Is 27 points behind, and then Stuart Gratton is 29 points behind. Doesn't really have a good chance at the championship. It's hard to make up 29 points when there's only 40 points that you can get. But if the top 3 take each other out, he could have a chance. For Aaron Abel, he's not going to have a shot at the title, but he has been on a roll in the chase. Just a little bit too late. He's trying to hang on and get a top 5 points finish, which will give racing in Wyatt Mill. Juan Garcia sits in points, minus 70. Logan Dawn in 7th, minus 80. John Andrews in 8th, minus 83. Jordan Edwards in 9th, minus 95. Nicholas Samadeo in 10th, minus 96. Duncan Wood in 11th, minus 98. And then Mark Kennington, the chase to forget for that 19 team, 178 points behind Matthew Hubert. And then it's going to be interesting all night long of how this plays out. The 13th in points battle is going to be fairly tight between Allison San Vitale and Joe Rakowski. 5 points separate them, and then Troy Bell 22 points behind for that. And then, of course, we also got the Owners Championship battle, which is looking like it's pretty good for Hindenburg Sports and Reggie Fogelman. And then the main one outside of the driver's title is this Rookie of the Year battle. You don't really get anything for it, but it's always interesting to see how it works out. And Stuart Gratton only has 3 points over Logan Dawn. Each rookie is a point, so if Logan Dawn is finished, is 4 rookies ahead of Stuart Gratton, that will be 4 points, and that will be enough to win the Rookie of the Year battle. That's a little bit confusing, but I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get these drivers rolling off here for the JBL 500. Alright, Allison and Caleb, who is the race-winning pick and who is the championship pick here tonight at Atlanta Speedway?
For the race win, I'm going to go, maybe not too bold, but I'm going to go a little interesting on this pick here and go with Trey Bartow in that 24 machine. It'll be his second win of the season if he can pull it off, but he's in a great starting position, and it's going to be his teammate Matthew Hubert who pulls off the championship. He's got too much of a buffer, and I think he's going to only move up in this race, but who knows, anything can happen, like we saw last week at Martinsville, so we'll see how it ends up shaking out for all these drivers, but give me Hubert, give me Bartow.
I might go a little bit bold here, at least for the race win. I think I'm going to take that 38 Logan Williams. Of course, won this race last year, if I do remember correctly. And you know what? For the championship, I'm also going to go with the 38 Logan Williams. He's definitely kind of entering the race with a bit of a deficit, but Matthew Hubert starting about midway through the field, so he's definitely got a bit of a hole to dig himself out of there. And if just anything goes wrong, that could really definitely play into Logan Williams' favor there. So I think I'm going to go with Logan to get it done here.
Logan had a terrible weekend last week that I don't think he wants to be reminded of anymore, but he did end the season good last year here at Atlanta, so maybe he can do the same here this year. Thank you guys for a fantastic season number 6. Might have been one of my favorites so far, and we gotta see what ends up happening. But for one final time, it will be Andrew Miller and Logan Williams from us to the green flag. Thank you for a great season, and we are racing for the JBL 500 one last time in Season 6 of the JBL Cup Series. A perfect lap number 1 from Andrew Miller in the number 21. He is trying to get a whopping win number 7 on the season, but he doesn't really have a good chance at the championship. Bottle won at Richmond a couple of races ago. He's trying to get win number 2. Logan Williams has not won since our club at race 5 or something like that. He's trying to win number 3, and we gotta watch this all race long. Logan Williams started on the outside lane, driving back a little bit. Hubert on the inside lane is on the move. Barlow gonna go for the race sweep, but how about Kennington? A terrible chase for him. He's saying, you know what, we still got one more race. I want my first career cup win here tonight.
Already some great racing, and already my pick going to the lead. How about Trey Barta there in the 24 machine? Great jump for him. And outside lane, it's not terrible, obviously, but it's still not where you want to be early on in a run. And Logan Williams started on the outside pole, slipped back a little bit. I think he's going to find a slot right here, though. But Andrew Miller is not going to waste any time getting back to the race lead, and Ronald Kennington is going to waste any time getting to the race lead to begin with. And they're 3 wide here on lap 4.
Still 3 wide here down the back straightaway. This is getting crazy up here for the lead. Still 3 wider going into 3 and 4. Trey Bartow gonna have to back out there on the outside, but we're still side by side here between Kennington and the 21 of Andrew Miller here down the front straightaway. I think Miller got it there at the line, just barely over Kennington. Some great racing, though, early on here from Atlanta as these two stay side by side up here for this race lead. Dorn and Bartow side by side behind them, and Crampton and Williams side by side behind those two. And Andrew Miller had a great run there through 3 and 4. Gonna clear Kennington there around the outside goes that 21 machine.
A very unique racetrack. You don't see a lot on it all, and you know, we got to thank one person for that, and that is the driver of the 45, Travis Crampton, and made this highlight a couple of years ago when I was like, what should the finale be? And I really wanted Atlanta, but it was always a pack race. But he's done a lot of things early on in the one. With fresh tires, you see racing like this, but once the tires get old, about 10 laps in, then it is typical in our Mountain House where they get a little bit spread out and you gotta fight for the life on old tires. So once again, shout out to Travis on that one, and hopefully he has a good one here tonight. Not been a great season for him. Miller out front, Kennington in second, Dorn in third. We're now fourth as Barlow hangs tough on the outside lane, and I think it's gonna be where the inside lane is gonna be good on the long, short one. I think the outside lane might be good on the long one. And how about Matthew Hubert, still 19th, inside the top 10, and he's almost gonna pass Logan Williams already on that number 8.
Doing all he needs to do at this point in the race to secure himself this championship, which kind of just fell in his lap last week, but he kept himself in the game, and that's a big part in winning a championship such as this. And yeah, it's far from over. There's John Andrews in the 34 machine. He got a win this season, I do believe, and you know, I'm glad both of our drivers got a race victory at some point this year. John didn't have the best runs in the chase, but you know, still a great season overall for us at Front Row Motorsports. We'll see how Front Row Motorsports does in real life. I don't know if we're going to have Front Row Motorsports, but hey, you know what? I'm proud of this team. Proud of Logan Williams. Proud of John Andrews this season, regardless of what they do on this one. And you know what? I have a good feeling one of them at least is going to get this race victory, because I've been in the booth twice where both of them have gone the victory lane here at Atlanta. So I'd love to see it again.
Hubert, I definitely got to give him a lot of credit. He's done a great job here so far at making his way through the field here in the early stages of this race. Now up here inside of the top 10. Logan Williams kind of holding strong there as well in that 38. He's still up here inside the top 5 for the lead. Trey Bartow looking to the inside here on the 21 of Andrew Miller, Rogel and Ronald Kennington there right in tow. Bartow's got the help on the inside. Miller trying to hang tough on that outside lane. But it looks like Bartow had a great run there through 3 and 4 and is going to clear for the race lead. Rogel looking to go for second. Logan Williams here making a charge on that inside lane as well in that 38, trying to look for whatever positions he can here out on the racetrack. That's all Logan can really do here. What he needs to do, just try to get as many positions as you can and hope that maybe potentially something happens to the 5 of Matthew Hubert, but he's done a good job in that 5 machine here so far. We still got a long race ahead of us. Anything can happen, so it is definitely far from over.
And right now, this is exactly what Logan wants to see. Third, almost second for that 38 machine, and the 5 keeps on dropping back a little bit each time. And Duncan Ward made some aggressive moves last week at Martinsville, just made an aggressive move on Unable. And once again, I think if he does this again for Unable, this will be 6 or 7, maybe 8 races in a row where he finishes inside the top 6. So, an impressive streak to the end of the year from Unable. Joe Wachowski won at Texas a couple of weeks ago, and I'm noticing that it looks like Andrew Miller in that 21 might have a short run car here tonight. As 13 laps and he's falling back. And look at the 5 car doing what happens in real life, winning the highest out of anyone inside the top 9 in 3 and 4.
That's a good run there for Hubert, and he's just got to be careful to keep this thing in the top 10. And honestly, he keeps the top 15. He's going to win the race. I know he gets some bonus points for winning the race here. Remind me, Nathan, if anyone gets bonus points for leading a lap in this series, because I actually do not remember.
Yes, 1 point for leading a lap and 1 point for leading the most laps. And the winner gets 38, so the max is 40.
Gotcha. Max is 40, so you definitely want to lead those laps. So Hubert's in a good spot, and especially with Logan Williams not leading a lap yet, that helps him out in that regard. But I mean, what helps Hubert out is the fact that he's running close enough, and it doesn't even matter in that regard to begin with. But, it's still going to be a great race, and any of these drivers from Hubert on up especially can go to victory lane here tonight. And how about this 42 machine? And that's Eli Bright there. Joe Rakowski had a race victory a couple weeks ago, and there he is right behind Eli Bright. Good run for Legacy Motor Club in this one. And, Chris Cherigo, the owner of this team, he's been doing pretty good over in the JBL Cup Series. May win the JBL Cup Series championship. I'm sorry, Nathan, that you didn't really get much of an opportunity to go up there and win that title, because I know you had a good shot. A good race so far, and how about Ronald Kennington, to your point, has never won in this series before, but he's got a shot at getting his first career win in the finale of this season.
And that would be something to see. He's not had the best of luck last year. Had a lot of good luck at the first half of the season and made it on into the chase, but it's been abysmal in the chase. 178 points behind. That's one of the lowest in the chase format era from 12 points, so it's not been good. But he has speed here tonight, and he could easily be in contention here in this one, and he's going to try and take third away from one of the title contenders of Logan Williams. And you mentioned the Legacy Motor Club cars. They've been constantly the 2 cars that have challenged these chase drivers all chase long. And I think for Legacy Motor Club, they just had too much bad luck and just didn't have the speed until right at Nashville. A couple of races before the end of the regular season, and it was just a little bit too late. But great momentum to build off of. Kennington blocking the 38 and the 43, but Local Dawn trying to get win number 2, and the first one since Auto Club, dominated the 93 laps at Martinsville, but did not win because of Miller moved him out of the way late at Martinsville. But Dawn trying to catch up with ball, and a lot of dicing down the back stretch throughout the top 10.
Definitely a lot of shuffling going on, a lot of moves, a lot of passing here so far. It has been a fun race here from Atlanta. Hubert got up the racetrack a little bit there in 3 and 4, might have almost caught the wall. That's going to lose him a couple spots there in the 5. But he did keep it off the wall. He's still going. He's still doing what he needs to do there. But it's been a very exciting race here so far. There's a lot of drivers that we've seen here tonight so far that might have race-winning speed. Of course, we got Trey Bartso out in the front. Rogel Dorn trying to hound him there in the second position. Ronald getting to the 19 looks fast. That would be a big win for Kennington. Pickett pulled off here tonight. Both the Legacy Motor Club cars. You got Logan up here. You got both front row cars up here. Andrew Miller, we saw him have pace there in the short run. Maybe they can make some adjustments once we get to pit road. Maybe make that car a little bit more suitable for the long run. Sam Medeo up here as well. You still got Matthew Hubert there in the 5 as well. Duncan Ward, you got so many cars up here that's been fast all season long in contention for this race. And definitely going to be exciting to see how this race will play out once we start to get into the middle later stages of it. But it's been a fun race here so far, and kind of like you were talking about earlier on in the race, now that we've kind of gotten into this run now, the field's getting really spread out here as these tires are really starting to wear out now.
Absolutely, and I love that this is kind of a combo of what we kind of see throughout the season, but it's kind of chaotic in the first 10 laps or so, and then the second 10 to 15 gets a little bit spread out. Tires are taking into effect with that 1.5 to 2, maybe 2.5 seconds of fall off, and I think the top 10 have a really good car here tonight. I think Kennington might have a good long car, keeps on picking them off one by one, side by side for second. Would this be something if Ronald Kennington has been close a couple of times this season? If he can get his first win in the season 6 finale, not going to get there on Logan Dorn, and that outside lane is getting better and better on this long run. But we're all the way to that point where in 5 to 7 laps time, we will have our first round of pit stops, and that is very sketchy at this racetrack, both on pit road entry and especially on pit road exit.
Yeah, you got all these championship contenders who are running inside this top 10, top 15 right now. They've got to be careful. They've kind of spread it out, though, which is a good thing. But, you know, if I'm Matthew Hubert, I'm just making sure that I'm clean on the pit lane and that I have a good pit stop. Because if that doesn't end up happening for him, he could find himself deep in the field, and Logan Williams could easily gain 20 points if Hubert ends up breaking out in this race because of a mistake. And you got all three of those championship contenders right there on each other now. As Logan Williams starting to slip back just a little bit there. You got Andrew Miller on that inside trying to make some moves. That's Sam Medeo there on the 77. A great run for all these drivers so far, and they're all doing their job, especially Matthew Hubert. But these cycle of pit stops will shake up and really give us a glimpse of how the rest of this race is going to play out here from Atlanta.
Pit stops are going to be very crucial, and we're going to see that in about 3 to 5 laps. See what the right call will be, if it's going to be the undercut or the overcut, with the such massive tire fall of about 2.5 seconds. But right now, Bottle's doing a good job trying to get a second win in the last 5 races, I believe, in that 24 machine. Dorn, Kennington, Wilkowski, White, the top 5. John Anders, who won here last year in the spring for the 100th points race in the JBL Cup Series. And then Logan Williams in 7th, who won the season finale last year for RFK. Andrew Miller, Matthew Hubert, and Nicholas Samuel with the top 10. Dorn, Clampton, Edwards, Apel, and Burnett, the top 20. And then, how about Zachary Fitzwater, Stuart Gratton, Sam Vitale, Juan Garcia, and the 7 of Dylan Matthews, running up the top 20. And we are at that window where we could have pit stops at any given moment. It's like no one is this time by on lap 27, but next time by, the floodgates should open here at Atlanta.
Great to see who all will decide to come down here. Kennington looking low on the 3 Rogel Dorn. Don't know if that's going to be a sign there. Andrew Miller there in the 21. He's going to come down. And so here we go. The floodgates have opened. Andrew Miller going to come down here on lap 28, coming to lap 29. See if anybody elects to join him. It doesn't look like it. Miller right now all is lonesome there on the pit lane. However, could definitely play out into his favor a little bit, as a clean pit road is honestly probably what you're wanting to look out for here in this. So, yeah, we're just going to start seeing a lot of guys come down, as here comes our race leader, Trey Bartso, Eli Bright, and bringing a lot of cars behind them, including your points leader, Matthew Hubert.
I like that call from Miller. just decided to have a clean pit road. Not a ton of cars pitting in this time either, not as many as I anticipated, but one of our championship contenders, Matthew Hubert, is on pit lane, and you gotta have a clean pit stop here tonight. Two of them, not just one, but two of them, the norm here in the series, and you gotta have a good pit stop in that number 5 machine. And in comes the 3 of Logan Williams and everyone else behind him. Stuart Gratton stayed out another lap in that 47. And we gotta see how this all shakes out on pit lane. A couple of other cars staying out. A solid pit roll from the 5. And now, gotta see what... Oh no, contact with Witkowski for Logan Williams.
Yeah, it just keeps on getting worse for him here. I don't know how bad that hit really was. He is still changing his tires there. Up a little bit slow there on the transition. We'll see how that affects him if they do actually have to repair any damage. I don't think that was too bad of a hit. It wasn't, but he is going to lose a little bit of time overall from that, and just not a good race for him up to this point. Here comes Andrew Miller, who ended up cycling to the race lead through that cycle of pit stops. He's got Trey Bartow right behind him there, and Matthew Hubert in a good position. A great pit stop for him. And this is working out very well for Hubert to just run away with his championship here at Atlanta.
Very well could. Gotta watch out for this pit roll exit. We've seen it before. It can be a little bit treacherous. It's really a one-lane pit roll exit, but it looks like we are going to be good. A couple of other cars with the Stuart Gratton strategy are going long. Gotta see how that all plays out, but it will be the number 24, maybe, as the race leader. Is going to be these two side by side. Miller with the undercut is going to be side by side with Trey Bartow, who kind of did the medium way about it. And these top 3 are going to have a little bit of a gap over 4th place Ronald Kennington. Eli Bright will be in the 3rd place spot, and it will officially be Trey Bartow in that 24. Miller, Bright, Kennington, Dorn, Andrews, Hubert in 7th, Witkowski in 8th, Edwards in 9th, and Sam Deal in the 10th position, Crampton in the 11th, and for Logan Williams, he has dropped back down to the 12th position, I should say. And then the 12th car is Sam Vitale right behind him, trying to win the Best of the West title. Duncan Ward, Stuart Gratton with the overcut. Gotta see how that plays out, and then Enable as well. And a clean pit stop cycle there. And we gotta see how it all plays out. We will see lap traffic with the 14 of Blaine Varga. Not a good season for this 14 car at all. And we gotta see how that all plays out. Almost halfway through the JBL 500, and one pit stop in, one pit stop to go. And it's the top 2 that know each other pretty well, with Trey Bartow and Eli Blake going at it for the race lead.
Yeah, definitely very familiar with each other. Our top 2 of Bartow and Eli Bright, but luckily, all things considered, a relatively clean cycle here at Atlanta. Unfortunate break there for Logan Williams with a bit of an extended stop there after making a bit of contact with Witkowski, but still a little ways left to go in this race. Still got another pit cycle, still some time to change it around as we got 3 wide here for the lead as Bright tries to get to the inside here at Trey Bartow, with Braden Varga getting stuck up there on the outside. Andrew Miller there in the 21, waiting in the wings as well, right behind these two. We're still side by side here down the back straightaway. Here into 3 and 4. Bartow trying to put the power down on the outside, but where these tires are still relatively fresh, that inside lane probably where you want to be at the time being, and Eli Bright gonna power ahead. He's not clear quite yet, but he is gonna clear here into 1 and 2. And now Andrew Miller looking to try and take that second position back away, and he does so.
And we gotta see of how it goes, but Bartow with a good run on exit. Oh my goodness, and that's what I love about this racetrack, especially with what Travis did a couple years ago. There's 3 lanes here that work out very well, but once you get out of the way, that is a no-go. Bartow's gonna try and get back to the inside here in 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is more of a 3-lane racetrack. 3 and 4 is more of a 2-lane racetrack, what I've noticed with the last couple of seasons. And right now, Bartow and Miller are side by side for the 2nd place spot. But will this be something for Eli Bright to get win number 2? He won at Nashville, and this is a similar tire that we took to Nashville, I will say, and it had about 2 seconds stay, and Eli Bright won that race. So similar fall off, and Bright might get win number 2. But right now, it is looking really good for Matthew Hubert to be inside the top 10 and win this championship. But we're not even halfway through this one, Alex, and we still got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's the thing about this race that makes it hard to win. It's how long it is, and we're about halfway, but it doesn't look like Logan Williams is going to win this race. And it also looks like it's going to be a caution-free race, which also makes it even more difficult. But, you know, Trey Bartow and Andrew Miller are in a good position right now, and so is Eli Bright, of course, in that 42 machine, who is the race leader. And these 3 drivers have kind of pulled away from the rest of the field at this point, and you know, Andrew Miller, of course, looking for win number 7 on the season. Trey Bartow looking for win number 2. And Eli Bright looking for win number 2 as well. So I'm sure Eli and Trey are like, hey, you've won enough this season, Andrew. Get out of here. But you know, Andrew isn't feeling that way. And, you know, the most anyone's won in the Wall Cup Series is 6. We thought Paulus was going to smash that this year, and he stayed at 5 wins on the season. Miller has a shot at going 7-28, which is a quarter of the season, and he's got a great opportunity here tonight, running 3rd halfway through this JBL 500.
Yeah, this is only the 2nd season that we've done the Waynes here, and I don't know what the previous record was. It might have been only 4 or 5, if I think. So, and that was last year with the first year of the Waynes. So, for Miller to pull this off, 6 wins. Most of them coming in the regular season, plus winning the All-Star race. So technically he has 7. But if he wins here tonight, that would be race win number 8, 7 points paying in the All-Star race. And we're past halfway now in the JBL 500. And like you said, this is a tough race to win. And we saw this last year. It went caution-free for 60 laps. And then we had a caution right around pit stops. So that could happen here in this one. But it's looking good here. And don't look now, but Logan has kind of broken away from 5th to 10th, and Logan might have a long one caught here, and on the move, trying to catch up to the top 3 a little bit here.
We're looking pretty sporty here as this run goes along. Trying to get a little bit closer here to our top 3. He's slowly, I think, drawing them in ever so slightly, but we'll have to see what that 3 car can do. Yeah, he's pulled away from those cars behind him, and now he's gotten by the 14 there of Braden Varga, which might get interesting back here. He's going to hold up Kennington a little bit there in the entrance of 3 and 4. There's Matthew Hubert in the 5 getting to the inside of the 34 of John Andrews. Also got Sam Badillo, Rutkowski there in that pack. Jordan Edwards there in the 9, not too far behind. We also got that pack of cars all behind these guys. This is getting a bit dicey around here. Matthew Hubert, is he going to try to go through the middle here? He's going to try it there. To the outside of Rutkowski, to the inside of Braden Varga.
Goodness.
Oh, but Varga's going to cut him off going into 3 and 4. Oh, this is getting dicey around here. Towards the middle of the top 10.
Varga's not been that good this year. Been kind of slow. And Varga's being a pain in the neck for that point leader of Matthew Hubert, trying to help her forward of Logan Williams. That might be what it is, trying to help her forward and I guess trying to take out Matthew Hubert. I don't think that's what you want to see, Alice. But a terrible sequence there for the number 5 and finally going to get past due to his teammate letting him in. But a terrible couple laps for Hubert and Varga there. And meanwhile, these guys keep on closing in. Dawn is closing. Same with Deal is starting to close in as well. So with these 3 racing, and really with this 21 using up his stuff, that might allow some other drivers to close back in, especially with some more laps traffic. You got the 31 of Owen Miles, Bruno Giacomo in the 10, and Kenneth Miller in the number 4.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you stay close enough when the cycle begins, you could definitely jump on these guys. The thing is, with how long the runs are and how long this race is and how few cautions we've had, which have been 0, the tire wear is actually going to come into effect lap by lap. If your Andrew Miller came down first, you're going to probably notice him fall off just a little bit compared to Bartow and Bright. And that one lap's going to make a difference in the long run, and that's the disadvantage of coming down early. We've seen drivers win races by overcutting on the pit lane and then having the fresher tires at the end of the run. So that's what you want, and it's a pretty even split in terms of the cycle here. And Andrew Miller, as you can see, starting to fall off just a little bit. Rogaldorn looking to close in that 3 machine. Nicholas Samadio as well in that 77. Did he even win? Did he win a race this year? Nicholas, he hasn't.
Not.
So he it's just like the Wall Cup Series, just can't get a win in the top level, even though he's very good.
Oh no!
Oh no,
Rogel.
Rogel with a problem.
Rogel, oh my goodness, that's 4 wide split into 77, and oh my goodness, and you know what? This is the worst staple chainsaw year, besides the Logan Williams one. I was thinking in my head, Rogel has a chance to become Rookie of the Year, because Stuart was around the 10th or 12th spot. Now Rogel has a tire go down, and that's going to seal it for Rookie of the Year. Congratulations to Stuart Gratton, as long as something happens to him. But was the staple changes the last couple of races? I mentioned Logan Williams a ton, and then Rogaldorn just had an issue, and I just think about it. And meanwhile, battle race lead. Eli Blythe's not going to be happy about that, as he's going to use the pick on Eli Blythe to take back the race lead.
There is a lot going on here at Atlanta. As Trey Bartso now back to the race lead there, using Giacomo as a pick. Bright still right behind him, though, in second. And yeah, Andrew Miller there in the 21, probably struggling a little bit to keep pace with our top two with those slightly older tires. However, we are starting to approach that second cycle of pit stops, so that'll definitely be really interesting to see how that plays out. Matthew Hubert in the 5, up into the 4th position after that whole exchange there. And such a tough break there for Rogaldorn. He might have even had a car that could probably contend with our top 3 right now. And yeah, unfortunately, like you said, it's probably going to seal it there for Rookie of the Year, unless something happens to the 47 of Stuart Gratton, which definitely got to give a call to, because he's running in the 10th position right now, and he was one of those guys that overcutted on the last pit cycle, so really making that overcut work is that 47. So we'll have to see how things shake out here under this upcoming pit cycle, but it's definitely shaking out to be very, very interesting. And here in just a couple of laps time, but Trey Bartso looking to try and hold on to the lead there until then. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of this race will play out.
Logan is still in the 15th position, and I hate to say this, but I don't know what has happened to that team and really that driver, because last night he had a oil leak as well. I forgot to mention that in the pre-race last night in the Krispy Kreme National Series. He had a oil leak. He had a fuel leak and an oil leak in the last 2 races in that series, and then also happened in the Cup Series race at Martinsville, and tonight does not have the car. Who does it? Straight and Eli Bright just swapping back and forth for this race to lead, and in the middle is really dropping back now in that number 21 on old tires. We're about 5 laps away from pit stops, but in theory you can pit now, and you would be good to make it all the way. And once again, Bright back to the race lead. This is a lot better than what we saw last year with with Logan Williams, I should say. Dominated and had like a 7-second lead at one point, a 9-second lead. So it's a lot better than that, but we're getting closer and closer to round 2 of pit stops and the final one of season 6.
I have a decent amount of drivers who have an opportunity of winning this race, because look at how they've closed back in. It's 2.5 seconds for the top 9, and John Andrews, that last driver there in line, won the All-Star race here last year. I actually distinctly remember that when we had the All-Star race here last year, and I was in the booth for that one to see him. No, 100th race, not the All-Star race.
Yeah.
He won the 100th race in the JBL Cup Series here last year. That's what it was. I know he won here.
Yep.
But these guys continuing to close in as a whole. And he also got Stuart Gratton trying to make up some ground. I think he's too far behind to have a shot if this stays green. But, of course, that GRT power is very strong. GRT machine. Of course, all these guys, the window is now open for these drivers, if I'm not mistaken.
It should be.
Am I doing my math correctly here? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So the window is open for these guys. So it's going to get very interesting. We'll see who undercuts, who overcuts, and which one ends up working once we get to the end of this race.
Gotta see of what ends up happening pit stop should happen in the next couple of laps for the final time of the season, and it's going to be right now. I was about to say, the first one will be in the middle since he undercut the first time, and he's going to undercut a second time, and I would imagine it would be 4 tires because it's still 23, 24 laps, and that's almost a full one, so Miller will be the first one on pit lane for the final time of season number 6. A great year for Miller, but with Hubert running so good here tonight, I don't think he's going to have a chance at becoming the champion. Maybe second in points, because he was only 7 points behind Logan. And he's going to be in pit road for the final time. And that is going to be Troy Barlow, I believe, going down pit road. I think Eli stayed out, and the 9 is in as well. A couple of drivers, and this is going to be really interesting, because you can sparkle the way down a couple of times, or a couple cars per lap, because with 23, 24 laps to go, you're gonna feel, but how long do you want to push it?
It's gonna be interesting to see what we see here under this final pit cycle. This is gonna be the money stop right here, as we see now. Here comes the 42 of Eli Bright down pit road. Gratton gonna go with an overcut again there in the 47. So is Duncan Ward. As we see Eli Bright, Matthew Hubert, and all those other guys here that were inside of the top 10 there coming down pit lane, except for Ronald Kennington, who's also going to stay out and overcut there in the 19. Focusing along here on the 42 of Eli Bright, definitely would imagine it'll be 4 tires and filling it up with fuel for everybody. Yeah, there's a 5 of Matthew Hubert, who's had a spectacular night so far. I believe came into the pits in... he was inside the top 5, I think, I know, but it looks like he's definitely going to stay there, looking to exit there right in front of the 43 of Joe Rutkowski, and right behind the 42 there of Eli Bright, and then coming down the front stretch into 1 and 2, there's Trey Bartow, there's Andrew Miller. Looks like Eli Bright going to merge back in the 3rd position there in that 42, but Bartow and Miller got a pretty sizable gap back to the 42. 42, though, of Bright will have those fresher tires, so we'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out.
Gratton is just now pitting in that 47, like 5 laps later than everyone else.
Really long
really
overcut
going
there
for that
Gratton.
overcut. Which we'll see if that works. I mean, that's really his only opportunity. He's stuck with that strategy, and of course he was about 6 seconds off once the cycle began. There's a caution right now would give him a great opportunity of winning this race, but I don't think we want to see what we saw in the Wassup Cup Series finale. I want to see this thing stay green and really have the best drivers go after it here for this win. And, you know, knock on wood, it's looking like we're going to get to that point. But back up front, Matthew Hubert there with a great pit stop. I think that number 5 machine, actually, no, Bright ended up falling back. And it's Bartow and Miller who are up in the positions now, and Bright might be too far back to have a shot at this one, unless we do get a caution in this race. Great job out of both Bartow and Miller. A couple of Pennsylvanians right there with an opportunity of getting this last race of the season. Bartow's going to cycle to the race lead once it's all said and done. Or is he? Did Rogel make a... Rogel. Remember, Rogel made a stop earlier. Had an issue, so Rogel's going to be your race leader for the time being. Can he make it to the end, though? I don't think he's going to be able to hold these guys off because his tires are going to fall off, but he is currently the race leader because of that.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, blew a tire with, I believe, 30-ish laps to go. So I don't know if Rogel is going to be able to make it on this set of tires. But you know what? Rogel wants a caution because he can pit, take tires, and have fresher tires than everyone else late. So this is very interesting. Here late in the JBL 500. Miller is in 3rd, Bartow in 2nd, as BP almost turned to 21. And we've seen this at Atlanta. We tend to have caution-free races, but we get a lot of close calls here. And that was another one of BP released as a lap car, almost wrecking that 21 right there. And we gotta see what Rogel does. The 5 is in 5th place for Matthew Hubert, and then Logan Williams, who had a slow stop, dropped all the way back to, I don't even know where the 38 is, 11th. So actually gained some time, about 5 positions, but it's not going to be enough for the championship for him. And it's such a shame because he was one of the big 2 big three in both National and Cup. Heck, he won like double-digit wins this year and became all-time wins leader, but he's not going to win a single Cup or National Series title this year. But looking down to it, 15-ish laps to go for Season 6 of the JBL Cup Series.
Absolutely getting down to it, and we got definitely some interesting strategy developments as Rogel Dorn in the 3 out in front, looking to maybe try to go the distance. I don't know if he can make it. All Dorn can really do right now is just stay out and hope for the best. Like you said, a caution in a time like this would definitely help out that 3, because he could come to pit lane and get a huge tire advantage on the rest of the field. But here comes the 24. Trey Bartow with a full head of steam here on the 3 of Rogel Dorn. He's got a couple cars there trapped behind him, and Andrew Miller in the 21 kind of struggling a little bit back there to stay with the 24 Bartow, but he got clear of the cars he were fighting, so we'll maybe see if he can maybe make a run here at Bartow. But here we go into 3 and 4. Bartow's gonna hook the inside lane, and for the race lead, Bartow gonna take it away here off of turn number 4. And Andrew Miller looking to try and close in on that 21 as well.
Not a bad call from Rogel Dorn, but we'll see if Rogel can maybe make it on fuel from here. It's going to come down to Miller and Barlow, but Barlow has been one of the fastest cars all night long. Once he took the race lead, and oh yeah, he has the 8 fastest laps, so that is a fast car in that number 24 machine. We gotta see if Barlow can get a second win in the last 5 races, I believe, here to end the season. And that's the second year in a row that he's won late in the season, because season 5 he won, I think, the second Daytona to get his first win. And he's won once and maybe twice late in this season. Didn't make the chase, but a great way to end the season. And we're gonna see how this goes down. Same with Dio. Comes that 7-7 car, won the Drivers' Championship last year, and one inside the top 5. Burnett in 5th, Lutkowski and 6th, Polite in 7th, and then Jordan was still looking for his first JBL Cup Series win. Not gonna happen this year, it looks like. Running in 8th position, John Anders in 9th, and Ronald Kennington was promising early on, but he's still in a top 10 position in that 19 machine. And Logan Williams is now inside the top 12 and 11 still, but it's not going to be enough for Logan, and it's going to be a what-if type year for that 38 team. We got 10 laps to go left in the season, Alex, and it's looking pretty good as they're going to split the 51 here for Trey Barlow to get this race win.
I really love races like this where we don't have a caution. These guys just race it out, and you see the best cars up front. And these guys are still close to each other, Andrew Miller and Trey Bartow, and it's far from over. You got that lap traffic, though, in between the 24 and the 21, so this is looking better and better for Bartow, but still 9 laps to go across the line right here. Nicholas Amadeo will effectively be 3rd once Rogel Dorn slips back through the order. Still not really sure if that 3 machine can make it to the end, and Hubert doing everything right up to 5th now. That would seal the championship for him. Tough break for Logan Williams, especially with what happened last week, but, you know, proud of what he's been able to accomplish this season. And Hubert's had a tough run on the Wassup Cup Series, so it's kind of good to see him get a good run over here. Though Joe Rakowski's going to get around him right there.
Oh.
And they're going to get split right here, but a nice clean race here at Atlanta. Love to see it, and definitely been a great finale here for this JBL Cup Series season.
Been a lot of great action, and this is what we like to see. This typically goes caution free, and especially what we saw last year, having 4 cautions at Martinsville. It's nice to see. I don't want to say that you can still jinx it at this point, but that was really close with Rogel Dorn on all the tires with both of the Leximo Club cars for Matthew Hubert, but it's looking pretty good for him. But it's not looking good for the race lead, as Barlow is going to slide up the racetrack. Miller almost sent it. And he's going to try and go after win number 7 on the season here tonight. It is far from over first race win. Almost did.
Andrew Miller's come alive here in the late stages of this race. Now all over the back bumper of the 24 Bartow. He's peeking to the inside or down the front straightaway. Does he have enough of a run? Not quite. But that 21 definitely has some pace as we head back into 1 and 2. A great corner there from Andrew Miller. He pulls right back up to the back bumper of the 24 of Trey Barto. Nicholas Samadillo now in the 77 is now within 3 seconds. I think he might be a bit too far back, but looking to try and make a last-second rally. But this is shaping up to be a great finish here between Barto and Miller, as Miller's to the inside. Are coming to lap number 78.
Oh boy, this is
Not quite.
far from over. This is not going to be an easy pass for Miller. He has done the undercut both times here tonight. Got a lot of lap traffic in front of our top two. And Barto has been quite possibly the best car all night long. But Miller is so good through 3 and 4. He might have another one down the front stretch, this time by once again.
He is having a hard time getting that inside lane to work. And that outside lane's got enough grip for Barto to hold on, but he might get it here. Nope. Just right down that middle line. Barto's finding a great run right there. And you got to think, Barto's only won once this season. Andrew's won 6 times in that 21 machine here in 2025. So Barto's thinking, hey, just stay behind me. You've won enough this season, but he might get it. Gonna be 3 laps to go for Barto, pulling away now from that 21 machine, and maybe that overcut working just enough for Barto to have an opportunity at this race victory.
Great point with Miller winning 6 times plus the All Series. Barto only won once this year at Richmond, and I think he kind of dominated that one too. So this would be another race where he kind of dominates and gets the race win. But Miller with another good one. This is not over. 2 laps to go. The 5 is in 5th. And meanwhile, Logan Williams is in 11th as Logan Dorn was not able to make it. Yeah, Logan Dorn was not able to make it. 2 laps short. And with all the lap traffic, this is not over for this race win. Miller for another shot down the back stretch. Oh boy.
Barto getting held up there.
Peeking to the inside. Not quite gonna get there just yet. Barto hooks the inside, but Miller is there. As we come to the white flag, 1 lap to go here in the season.
It's the power 1 to go for the final time this season. Noah Clifton trying to get a lap on him, but Barto gets a bad one off of turn number 2. The 21 one's a little bit high to try and get a one. He's going to try and pass him on the outside lane. The 3 and 4, that's going to be too high. Or is it? Miller could try and run the outside lane. He's not going to do it though.
It's not going to be enough.
Troy Barto will get win number 2 on the season at Atlanta. And off of turn number 4 at the self-finish line, Matthew Hubert, one of the most consistent drivers all season long, is going to come home and get the 2025 JBL Cup Series Season 6 Championship. Whew.
Wow.
That was fun. That was a good finish there. And how about Trey Barto getting it done for only the 2nd time this season? I think I predicted his... I was 2 for 2 on that. Got the race winner and the champion, and a great day for Hendrick Motorsports in that regard. Get the championship and the race victory here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I thought Miller was going to get there on that number 24. And with all the different lanes, he had a shot, but he went too high in 3 and 4. And that's going to do it on the season. Miller is going to end the season with 6 wins, plus the All-Star race. A historic season for him. He's going to end the season with 12 top 5s and 17 top 10s. But for Matthew Hubert, he has been on a roll until Daytona. I think Chris Jericho LT said like 14 top 5s in a row heading into the second Daytona race. Something ridiculous like that. Or maybe it was 14 top 10s. Something around the range, and that's why Hubert has been so consistent all throughout the chase. He's been able to stick it in with Logan Williams, and Logan Williams, he got 11th, not a bad night, but if only Martinsville didn't happen to him last week, then we could be talking about Logan Williams being the champion by just a handful of points. But that's not going to be the case. Barto barely hangs on, and unlike last year when we had someone dominate and have 7 to 9 second lead, we never saw that here tonight. And Barto had to hang on to the last lap charge from NR2003 at number 7 on the season. but he does not get there. Bottle win number 2, second one in the last 5 races, and his third win in his JBL Cup Series career, all coming only the chase. Last year at Daytona as a non-chase driver, and then this year as a non-chase driver. So maybe he can get into a chase, get a chase spot next year and have a shot at the title. That might be the next step for Trey Bottle. But Miller gets second, Sam Deal in third, Burnett in fourth, Volkowski in fifth, Blight, Andrews, Edwards, Kennington, and Grant the top 10. And unfortunately, with what happened to Local Dawn, that is going to have Stuart Gratton be the Rookie of the Year champion. Bottle's going to win the regular. Bottle's going to win the final race of the season, I should say. I believe Henry will win the Owners Championship with the 5, 9, 24 all up there, and the 38 and 34 as well. And then, of course, Matthew Hubert winning the Drivers Championship. And everyone finished here tonight. Unlike last year where we had a caution, but we only had 25 cars on the lead lap. And Varga, the last car, 1 lap down. But what a race. Caution free, but there's battles for every single lap here in this one. And what a season finale here at Atlanta. We didn't really have to pay attention to the points battle that much, but we sure as had to pay attention for the race win. Wassup final thoughts, Allison Caleb, on the season finale and of season 6 of the JBL Cup Series here in 2025.
It was a lot of fun. And you had a better finale than I did in the Wassup Cup Series, that's for sure, because these guys raced it clean. And what a race it was. And, you know, Nathan, you do an excellent job with this. And you absolutely knocked it out of the park with this season, and really what you've been able to create with this and how long you've done it. It's pretty cool to see this series, JBL Cup Series, be around for as long as it has. And I'm looking forward to next season. And I know I'm keeping my 2 guys on the team. I guess I can say. Can I say that? Can I say that? I know I've been kind of secretive with silly season over in the Wassup Cup Series, but definitely excited to see what you keep on doing, not only here in the JBL Cup Series, but over on my channel as well with the Lenovo Pro Series, her Sprint Series. I've been doing a great load of work over there, and I greatly appreciate it. But hey, what a race and what a season, and absolutely love it. Absolutely love this game and what it represents for this, for us in this whole community. And you're a perfect example of that, Nathan. So great job, great job as always.
Definitely have to agree that we had a spectacular season over here in the JBL Cup Series, and the cherry on top was this absolute treat of a finale. That was some great racing all night long, some very interesting strategy in play as well, and definitely a very fun battle for the win there at the end between Bartow and Miller. Just a fantastic race all around, and a fantastic drive there out of Trey Bartow and Matthew Hubert coming home there in the 4th position to clinch the championship. Overall, just a spectacularly consistent season out of Matthew Hubert, and sometimes that's what wins championships, so definitely have to give a lot of credit there to Matthew Hubert. But man, just what a season here in the JBL Cup Series, and definitely cannot wait to see what next season will have in store. All I know is that it's going to be an absolute blast, and I definitely have to thank you for putting this series on. It's always a lot of fun year in, year out, and I definitely cannot wait to see how the next season will go next year. Can't wait for it.
Absolutely cannot have said it better myself. It's crazy that we've done 6 seasons of the JBL Cup Series, and it's crazy to me that next year is going to be season number 7. I didn't think we would have gone to this point, but like honest, I thought that after 4 seasons that was going to be it, or after 3 seasons it was going to be it, but I came back, and we've done 3 seasons, 2 of them with the Reigns era, and it has been so much freaking fun. And that race was the cherry on top. This season has had so many classic races, and honestly, I think we've gone to the best point racing wise yet in the series. And heck, even the Krispy Kreme National Series that we brought back this year for the first time in 5 years, that was a heck of a lot of fun, and that's gonna come back. I'm not letting that go away for 5 years again, because that was a lot of fun. And just a huge congratulations to everyone in the series that won this year. We had a ton of parity this year, and it's always a lot of fun when we have a lot of parity. And I cannot believe that, you know, Anna Miller won 6 times, and then Logan won 4, Stuart won 3, and then of course Trey won 2. But everyone else that won besides those 5 or 6 riders, Sam Vitale won 2, Hubert won 2, a lot of one-time winners like Abel, Garcia, Dawn, Andrews, Wachowski, Bright, Lowe, Zidell. So there's so many one-time winners, and parity is what I love about it, and we gotta see what ends up happening next year. And of course, a huge congratulations to JBL on win number 2 on the season. Congratulations to Stuart Gratton on winning Rookie of the Year. And congratulations to Hendrick Motorsports on the owner's title. It's been a rough couple years for Hendrick, of course beyond the scenes, but if you know, you know. But hopefully that gets sorted out next year. And of course a huge congratulations to Matthew Hubert. He showed at Jack Haas's 2311 team, and he was solid, but he didn't break out like he did this year. Got 2 wins early on, and then he was consistent for the entire year. And like I said, he had 14 top 10s in a row, something like that. And he's gonna end the season with 21 top 10s in 28 races. It does not matter if it was a full season points format or the chase. That is how you win a championship. And getting 21 top 10s in a single season is incredible. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for a fantastic season number 6 here in this one. And we're not done yet. We just started season 6 of the Power Truck Series here a couple of weeks ago, last week and this week. And we got that for the rest of the year. And of course, we got the big one. We got the Richard Hardwood Saber Shout in just a couple of weeks' time for the 7th running of that event. I've been doing this for a long time. I feel old, but I still love this game, and cannot wait for what happens next. But until Watkins come in next week for race 3 of the season for the Power Truck Series, the Krispy Kreme Series and JBL Cup Series are going to take the winner off, and we will see you guys roughly in February for the next seasons of these. And we will see you guys next time here on NS Racing 97. I'm not gonna lose this fight. I just wanna be victorious. Fire in the flames, it's glorious.